A bishop is brutally murdered in the back room of a church. Everything unravels in the chaos of the moment. The police arrive at the scene, and a young man is caught red-handed. Literally, at first glance, everything seems clear. Bloody hands, a terrified face. But this story isn't as simple as it looks. The accused young man, Aaron Stampler, might be playing one of the most shocking games in courtroom history. So, how does someone prove their innocence? Or better yet, let's ask this: how can a killer, caught with blood still on his hands, fool the court by claiming insanity? Today, we're diving into the story of Primal Fear. So, sit back, because this chain of events is going to leave you stunned. Is Aaron just a scared, innocent kid trying to save himself, or is he a cold-blooded manipulator? We're about to enter a plot where both the court and his lawyer are being played. It all begins with the brutal stabbing of one of Chicago's most prominent religious figures, Bishop Rushman, in the back room of his church. The murder sends shockwaves through the city. Who could kill such a beloved spiritual leader? When the police arrive at the crime scene, everything seems pretty clear. They find a young man, Aaron Stampler, trembling, covered in the bishop's blood. Aaron worked under the bishop's care. He's quiet, shy, and has no criminal record. They catch Aaron right outside the church, blood all over him. He keeps sobbing, insisting he doesn't know anything and that he's innocent. The pure fear on his face even makes some people watching hesitate. But in everyone else's eyes, Aaron is the prime suspect. The police are already convinced he's guilty. The evidence is all there. Aaron's covered in the bishop's blood, there's footage placing him at the scene, and they've got the murder weapon. Everyone thinks this case is going to be a slam dunk because it all seems so obvious. This is where Martin Vale, one of the city's top defense attorneys, steps in. Martin has a brilliant career, loves the media attention, and is known for being ambitious and successful. The main reason he takes on this case is simple: he wants more fame, more media spotlight. To him, whether Aaron is innocent or not doesn't really matter. His one goal is to win this case and boost his reputation. He takes on Aaron's defense, preparing to represent him in court. Aaron's behavior during the trial is striking. His eyes are always downcast, his voice trembles, and he acts like a scared, vulnerable kid. Sometimes, he looks so innocent and naive that people start wondering if he could actually be telling the truth. But waiting on the other side is a tough prosecutor, ready to do whatever it takes to pin this crime on Aaron. As the trial kicks off, it all feels like a show for Martin Vale. He delivers his defense masterfully, while Aaron stands as the picture of innocence in the eyes of the courtroom. The prosecutor, on the other hand, is convinced that Aaron is a cold-blooded killer, determined to prove he brutally murdered the bishop, using every piece of evidence available. But Martin stumbles upon something during his meetings with Aaron that could change everything. A strange, unsettling behavior that Aaron sometimes exhibits. It's as if he's not himself. Aaron, usually timid and shaky, occasionally shifts into someone entirely different. At times, his eyes darken, his voice changes, and a new personality emerges. Roy is tough, foul-mouthed, threatening, and violent. When Roy takes over, Aaron seems to disappear completely, as if he has no control over what's happening. When Martin realizes this, he's both shocked and excited, seeing it as a potential game-changer for the case. Aaron's multiple personality disorder becomes the cornerstone of their defense. The person who murdered the bishop wasn't Aaron, it was Roy. Due to this psychological disorder, Aaron wasn't in control of his own body at the time of the murder. Roy surfaced and committed the crime, while Aaron was completely unaware of what was happening. In court, Martin introduces Aaron's traumatic past into the argument. Aaron may have been abused at a young age, possibly even by the bishop himself, within the walls of the church. This abuse could have triggered the emergence of Roy, a hidden personality created to deal with the trauma. The bishop's dark past is also revealed. He wasn't as innocent as everyone thought. Behind closed doors, he may have committed terrible acts against young people in the church. As Martin presents this to the jury, Aaron's behavior in court shifts as well. Roy surfaces during the trial a few times, making Aaron look completely out of control. Even those watching the trial start to believe Aaron might actually have a split personality disorder. The jury begins to consider the defense more seriously, seeing both a seemingly innocent young man and a cruel, dangerous alter ego. As Martin pushes forward with this psychological argument, he puts the prosecution on the back foot. This claim of multiple personalities turns the trial into chaos, confusing both the courtroom and the public. Now, everyone's left with the same question: is Aaron really guilty, or is it Roy? Did Aaron commit the murder, or was it something entirely out of his control? As the trial progresses, Aaron's multiple personality disorder defense starts gaining traction in the courtroom. The jury begins to believe that Aaron might be innocent, that he wasn't in control when the murder was committed. Even the prosecution's evidence starts to pale in comparison to Aaron's innocent demeanor and Roy's brutal nature. Martin feels like he's winning the jury over. However, small hints about Aaron's true character don't go unnoticed. Every now and then, even Martin suspects that Aaron seems a little too calm, a little too in control. But the trial continues to go as planned, and Aaron is on the verge of being acquitted thanks to the multiple personality disorder argument. As the case nears its end, Martin is ready to celebrate the biggest victory of his career. The trial concludes, and the jury finds Aaron not guilty. Martin looks like he's pulled off a major success, and Aaron is now free. But Martin still has some nagging questions. Was everything really as it seemed? This is where the story takes its biggest twist. Martin decides to have one last conversation with Aaron, to tell him that he's won and he's now a free man. At first, Aaron appears as calm, innocent, and grateful as ever. But then, Aaron's expression changes. A sly, almost mocking smile creeps across his face, and he delivers a shocking confession. Aaron reveals that he never had multiple personality disorder. Roy was never a separate personality, he was Aaron all along. The whole personality disorder story was part of a calculated plan. He had killed the bishop, and the scared, innocent young man act was all a ruse to get away with it. Martin's world crumbles in an instant. Aaron had manipulated the entire trial. He fooled the court, the jury, and, most of all, Martin himself. Aaron is not only a murderer, but an extraordinary manipulator. This shocking revelation leads Martin in a deep personal and professional crisis. Aaron walks free, while Martin is left reeling from the realization that what he thought was his greatest courtroom triumph was, in fact, his biggest mistake. The real killer exploited the legal system and is now walking out, completely unscathed. After facing Aaron's true nature, Martin is completely frozen in shock. In that moment, he realizes that the entire trial, the whole multiple personality defense, was a complete lie from start to finish. Aaron wasn't some scared, confused kid. He was fully aware of everything, carefully executing his plan, smart, but extremely dangerous. In the courtroom, he played the part of an innocent young man, fooling both the jury and Martin with ease. He was never weak or afraid. Roy, the aggressive personality, was just a made-up story, a performance staged to get him off the hook. After calmly revealing his true self to Martin, Aaron proudly admits how he tricked the court and the justice system. He confesses that no one ever suspected him because he was just too clever. And the scariest part, Aaron managed to outsmart everyone and walk free without a hitch. He looks Martin dead in the eyes and says, "There was never a Roy. It was just me." Those words shatter everything Martin believed in. When Martin confronts Aaron, telling him he understands it was all a game, Aaron just smiles coldly. He's a free man now, relishing his victory. Martin, who thought he had achieved his greatest triumph in that courtroom, leaves completely broken. The real winner is Aaron, the killer who manipulated the system and walked away untouched. The film ends with a harsh lesson. Justice doesn't always prevail, and sometimes, the bad guys win. What was supposed to be an attorney's greatest success becomes the biggest downfall of his career. Meanwhile, Aaron enjoys his freedom, leaving behind a shattered lawyer and a system that was outplayed. As the film wraps up, the audience is left with one haunting question. In the face of such a brilliant scheme, can justice ever truly win? And that's how Aaron Stampler's cleverly orchestrated murder and his plan to fool the court unfolds, exposing just how complex and dark human nature can be. Primal Fear isn't just a courtroom drama, it's a psychological thriller that dives into manipulation, mind games, and the very limits of justice. Edward Norton's outstanding performance, paired with the film's shocking finale, is something you won't easily forget. If stories like this intrigue you, Primal Fear is a must-watch. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating film reviews and thrilling stories. New videos and surprise movie picks are coming your way soon. Stay tuned.